Let's get to Will Brown. You were on the road yesterday, 21-point lead, and somehow, some way, Stony Brook came back and won this game 72-70, shocking, certainly UA. And I know Will Brown has had pretty much all night to stay up and watch the film of this one. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Rog. How are we doing?
I'm good, Coach. Tough one. I mean, I guess I'll start by when you went back and looked at the film of this thing. What did it tell you?
Well, I mean, two things. We didn't handle pressure very well. I think in the last 6 minutes of the game, we threw 14 bounce passes against pressure, and it sped us up a little bit, and we played hot potato, especially with David, sitting on the bench. With about 6.5 to go, he picked up his fourth foul, and I wanted to get him to under the media timeout, just to that media timeout, get him back in the game. And unfortunately, I had to put him in before then. We just got very passive, got back on our heels. Nobody wanted to handle the basketball. And like I said, we threw out an awful lot of bounce passes. We just, gave the game away in our reality. And when we turned the ball over, we turned around and fouled. So not only did we turn the ball over, we fouled out of frustration. So we really didn't get a chance to defend half the possessions down the stretch. I think they went 12 for 12 or 14 for 14 in the last 6 minutes of the game from the free throw line. And when we did have opportunities to defend in the last 5 or 6 minutes, we didn't block out. They got their hands on a lot of balls and kept possessions alive. But, we really just didn't take a deep breath and relax against the pressure. We could have just passed the ball around the horn and into the windows and taken 9 or 10 seconds to get it over and then have less time on the shot clock. Or when we did get it over, we needed to get the ball back out. Like I said, I guess when it rains, it pours, and we have to finish. That's the bottom line, and, that's on me, and I've got to make sure that regardless of the situation, regardless of the combinations on the floor, that we finish. I do think that if we had David on the floor for the last 3.5 minutes, the outcome would have been different. I think the outcome should have been different, regardless. So, right now, we've played 2 conference games and have had opportunities to close both, 2 completely different types of games, and, we didn't. So we've got adversity staring us in the face right now, and, we need to respond.
How will you handle this with this group right now after the tough loss at UMass Lowell, then what happened last night, and really a short turnaround here to Wednesday when New Hampshire comes in?
Yeah, we at 1 o'clock we're watching film with our guys. We have to. We always watch a good bad edit of the last game, so we put the good bad edits together for the Stony Brook game. So we'll watch that as a staff and as a team, and I'm sure our guys will be even more frustrated after they watch it. Stony Brook pressed us the same way in the first half, early in the second half, and we had 0 issues. I think what happens is after you have 2 or 3 turnovers, guys get overly cautious and they don't want the ball in their hands. So I think the worst thing I can do right now is harp on, what happened last night. We'll watch the good, bad edits, and, we've got to put it behind us. We play UNH at home in a couple of days, and, they were picked second in our league in the preseason, and they have the preseason player of the year in our league in Leisner. So, again, like I said, we've got some adversity staring us in the face right now, and this can't be a snowball effect. It just can't compile. We've got to find a way to get it done against UNH. And, you know, we've dealt with some little things like today. Jerron Lands is not allowed to practice. It's a rehab day for him because he's gone 4 or 5 days in a row, and Dallas can't practice today. He fell down a set of stairs before the game, at Danford's, our hotel. He fell down the stairs the night before the game, and his tailbone's pretty messed up, so he's sore today, so he can't practice today according to the trainer. So we've got to be productive today, as productive as we can, get familiar with UNH and with the group that we have that'll be practicing today. 9 guys and some coaches. We've got to be productive with our time. And, this is, as a coach, you got to lift their spirits, because obviously as a coaching staff, you're upset and shocked with what happened. And, UNH doesn't care. I mean, if anything, they're looking at us so that we're extremely vulnerable right now, and it's the perfect time to play Albany, and it's a great opportunity to go on the road and get a win. So, we can't let any of that affect us. We've just got to continue to try to get better.
Will, you said you can't let this snowball, and obviously you don't want to, of course, inherently go 0-3 in the conference. Would you classify Wednesday's game against UNH as a must-win?
Well, I don't tell our guys it's a must-win. I thought between you and I, Zach, and I think I told you this before the game,
yep,
at Stony Brook, that between you and I thought that Stony Brook was a must-win. In my opinion, we didn't close the game out at Lowell, and we needed to get that game against Stony Brook on the road. If we were going to compete with the best teams in this league. So I always feel in conference play, I can't say this enough, how important it is to win at home and steal games on the road if you're going to be any good. We had 2 chances to steal games on the road, and we didn't. We need to win our home games. And our team does understand that, how important it is. Good teams are going to win at home. Really good teams are going to find ways to steal games on the road. So, right now, I just think with this team, we got to worry about today. I was confident that we would give a much better effort, especially defensively, at Stony Brook. I mean, we held them to 37% shooting, and I thought we did a rock-solid job defensively. Then after watching the film, I thought, we were average at best defensively. It wasn't as good as I thought. I thought offensively in the half court we were efficient and did a nice job. And we did a poor job in the last 6 minutes of handling pressure. Up to that point, we were fine against the pressure. They had played it probably, a dozen possessions, the 1, 2, 2, 3-quarter court, probably a dozen possessions prior, and we had no issues with it. I just think the moment, the fact that the crowd got into the game, Stony Brook was making a run, I thought we were in shock as a group. And the one guy that wants to dominate the ball and handle the ball for us, David, was on the bench a lot in the last 6 or 7 minutes. He didn't play the last 350 of the game, and when they started to make their run, he was on the bench with 4 fouls, and I couldn't even wait till that final media timeout. So, we've got to continue to work. We've got to continue, to get better. I don't like. There's an awful lot of pressure being put on our 2 perimeter guys, Joe and David, and that's just the way we're built this year. And it's unfortunate that they have to, handle a lot of the responsibility on both ends of the floor. But that's the way we're built. We don't have a third guard that's getting it done consistently. We don't have that third perimeter option consistently that can take pressure off those guys. And honestly, that was the first time last night, and obviously it's something we have to practice now for sure, playing without David against pressure. I'm sure there's going to be a game this year where he's going to get in foul trouble again, and we're going to have to yo-yo him in and out of the game in the last few minutes. Or if he fouls out, we've got to be able to handle pressure, and somebody's got to step up and want to handle the basketball at that point in time, and that's something that we've got to work on. I had never seen anything like it, Zach, in my entire coaching career, whether it's, I think the last time I saw it was, I think one year, Kentucky with Pitino was down like 30, maybe 35 against LSU and came back and won. And then I woke up this morning and I might watch SportsCenter. It doesn't make me feel any better, and I saw that last New Mexico at home in the Pit, which is a tough place to play, was up 25 on Nevada in the second half, and Nevada came back and won. Doesn't make me feel any better, but, it happens. There's too many good players, I think, at this level where you can assume that you have a game in hand or that you can relax. And, I could sit here and say we should have done A, B, and C. This guy should have done this and that. But, I have to make sure, as a head coach, unless we're completely incapable. It's like if I don't think we can defend and we're that bad defensively at some point, then, there's only so much you can do. I just don't believe that. If we're incapable of handling pressure, then, I'll admit that. I don't believe that. I've got to make sure I find a way that we stay calm, that we stay aggressive, and that we just finish the job. Even if it's a 1-point win in that scenario, you got to walk out of there, with a win. So, I can sit here and scratch my head and say, why did this guy do that? Why did we do this? Ultimately, I got to push us through that finish line, somehow. And we've got to continue to work on that.
Coach, appreciate a few minutes as always on the Monday show. UNH, first chance to get a home game in the conference on Wednesday night for you Albany Great Danes fans, and we'll have the call here on 104.5 The Team. Thanks, Will, for a few minutes.
Hey, thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Take care.
Watch SportsCenter. It doesn't make me feel any better, and I saw that last